Boom. So we're going to cover this. We're going to cover some of the previous. We are wrapping this incredible content up here. Fanatical prospecting, really getting kind of back into some mindset pieces, which is a lot of fun for me. And as always, guys, this is your room. I got lots of stuff highlighted. I could have just read the whole chapter into the room. And yet I want to hear from you guys first and foremost. No, I don't want to share my screen. I want to look at the attendees and I want to see what the heck you guys have pulled away. And then we will wrap up the entire content tomorrow. How much fun is that?
Coach, I can start, if you don't mind, if I go back a couple of chapters, because I went back a little bit this morning to listen to a chapter that I heard earlier. And one of the things I love so much, and like when I first saw the book, to be completely honest with you, I was like, oh my gosh, there they go again, more freaking prospecting crap, right? I'm just being honest with you guys. And I don't know what it is. I don't know why we go through cycles like that. I really don't know. But then, you want to come here and you want to be prepared, right? You don't want to be a liar and just keep you're muted and not talk. And as I was listening to him, one of the things I love so much about him, he gives data behind it, right? And he does not make any bones about it that it sucks. Get over it and do it anyway. I love that, number one. And number two is when he went to the one company and even the CEO said, I'm sorry it's going to be terrible today when you do the live calls. And he's like, dude, you just spend thousands of dollars for me to come here. You don't even believe it's going to work. And then what I loved it, how he finished it was that he got 51% answer ratio out of the 19 or 1,300 calls that were made. So it's proven data at the end of the day. It sucks. Yes. Number one, do it anyway. And by the way, it's the number one way to get business. And I have to say that was a great punch right smack in the frickin' face.
Number one way to get business, number one way to build your business, number one way to find talent. It's the number one way to do a lot of things. And here's the great part, Mark. I got to share with you. You know what you'll always get when you come spend time with me? More freaking prospecting crap. So let's just get after it. All right. What else you guys have?
I just felt that it was really good content, the entire book. I put it, I've been putting it to use and stuff like that when I'm prospecting between 2 and, well, I don't go to 5, but from 2 to 4 usually with my emailing and texting. So hopefully that's helping. And yeah, it was a pretty thick book, jam-packed. I'm ready for a little bit lighter book.
You won't get lighter here. And here's the entertaining part for me, Carrie. It's going to take that action every day. It's going to take putting it into practice. And all of the elements of this will come into focus and get better just by going through the motions, just by doing it. It's kind of like, football practice walkthrough on Thursday before game day. They've drilled it so many times. They're still doing a walkthrough of everything they're going to do the following day for your high school football fans. And it's just one more drill. And so those conversations. So I really want to hear from somebody on chapter 22, those 11 words that change your life.
So I was gonna talk about something I pulled out from there, and it was just that when he said when it is time to go home, make one more call, right? Going the extra mile, do more than is required. It made me think, okay, how bad do I want whatever it is that I want in life, right? For me, my goal is to build generational wealth and retire my mom, right? So it's like asking myself, how bad do I want it? And then the part that I really took away from was what top performers understand is that to succeed at the highest level, they've got to pay for their success in advance, right? And in the previous chapter, it talked about that. So often, I would see successful people and be like, wow, like they really are rocking it, but you don't know until you hear their story how many failures or experiences of growth that they experienced, how many times they were told no, how many times they fell on their face. Like, they paid for the success that we now see in advance with the hard work, right? With the consistency, with that determination, with that grit of not giving up and not quitting. And it was like, okay, I had to really sit and really ask myself, what price am I willing to pay? Right. So I ask all of you guys this question. What price are you willing to pay to get to your goal? Whether it's buying that new house, right? Whether it's retiring your family, right? Whether it's taking that vacation that you've never done, whatever it may be, what are you willing to pay to get that thing? And what we're learning here is that we can't quit, right? But then also on page 248, it says quitting is a choice. Most people, when faced with challenges, quit too soon, often right as they are on top of the cups of success, right? And he talked about the sales rep that he hired that was there for 29 days, and she did an amazing job at what she did, but she quit just before she was able to close. And the funny part was, he said that after they went back and talked to all the prospects that she connected with, they were able to close so many of them instantly because she had done such a great job. But so sad to see that she wasn't even able to reap the benefits of her work because she quit, right? So it just made me think of mainly, what is the price that I'm willing to pay to get to where I want to be?
And I really want to drill down on that, Nafritha, because here's the magic for all of you. You're either going to pay the price now or
Or
you're
pay
going to
later.
pay later. By the way, my fun part of pay, it's the precursor of another word, pain. There's going to be some pain now. There's going to be the pain of doing the work. There's going to be the pain of challenging your subconscious stories and fighting with your drunk monkey. There's going to be the pain of rejection and of doing the work. And overlaying all of that is this pain of discipline, of showing up. Now, you guys are showing the discipline of growing yourself by being here every day. That's phenomenal. Now it's the pain of discipline, of making the calls. And as Nafritha put in there, when it's time to go home, make one more call. The pain of that little extra, because this discipline, implementing these pieces, doing the work, and always doing that one more every day, no matter what, is a lot lighter than what you're going to pay in the future if you don't, and the pain that you'll have in the future. As Jim Rohn said, the pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. And I don't know a single person who has gotten out of real estate and taken another job that hasn't looked back afterward and had a massive pain of regret because they knew if they would have just stayed on it, their life would be radically different. Celeste, I saw your mic, and then I got Ryan, and then I got Carrie. What do you got?
Well,
Good
from what you
morning.
just said, I was going to say,
Hold on, Carrie. You're in third place on this list. I got Celeste, then Ryan, then Carrie. Here we go.
Good morning, everyone. I am going without a camera on purpose. On page 254, where they talk about you outlearn to out-earn, I think that's exactly why we're here. I mean, I'm here. I'll just say that. I'll leave it. You guys decide for yourself. But if someone had told me we could have read as many books as we have in a window of 1 year, I guarantee you I would have been like, no, I can't do that. I'm not able to do that. And what I can find in my soul is that it took one chapter a day, one chapter. I'm eating an elephant, and I am looking back and thinking how much I have learned and how much I see in myself in these pages. And I'm thinking, why didn't I do this 35 years ago? That's all I want. I want to push that.
Since you've been playing since step one in this, do you know how many books you've consumed in the last 12 months?
No, I don't.
20.
Oh my God.
Those that have been here have read 20 personal growth and business growth tomes. Serious stuff. And they've learned to think differently. And this shift is going to continue. And those of you that are just getting in here now, maybe those of you that are reconnecting and revisiting, phenomenal. Lean into this 30 minutes a day, because as Celeste says, man, this is where you grow. And we know again that your business grows to the extent that you do. It's not about tell me what to do. Tell me tell me what to do, Russ. Tell me what to say, who to say it to, where to prospect. Yeah, that's going to help a little, the skill set. But the mindset piece and this personal development is going to make the massive changes that you really desire. Ryan, what do you got?
I love what this guy was talking about, and then what it did was open up to me having more conversations with other people in different industries that are still in sales. And what I found from top sales producers, like this is the stuff that I'm really starting to apply. And because if I want my ISAs, if I want my agents, if I want everybody in my organization to succeed, they have to get better. Well, how do they say that they can get better? The only way that I found, and I talked to other top leading sales organizational managers, is make a metric and actually grade every call. Like in baseball, you were graded on how well you get to first base. It's called on base percentage and batting average. Okay. In football, there's blocking scores for offensive linemen, how well that they protect their quarterback. These people get paid millions of dollars based on metrics and rubrics. So why are we not building a rubric for our sales team to decipher how well they're actually executing the calls? To me, all of a sudden, my education, my master's degree in education just came flying back to me. Why am I not creating call rubrics for my team members that did they get the necessary information to set the appointment? So this is what we are implementing immediately because of this book and because of these conversations that I'm having. And this is why I challenge everybody. What are you doing to implement? Just reading the book is great. That's fantastic. But if you don't implement, you're in the same spot. And guess what? In 5 years, because I'm looking back 5 years, I've been in the business 8 years. I want to change my life because in the 8 years that I've been in, I'm a little better off. But you know what? I'm gonna set myself in like generational wealth in these next 5 years because of the changes that I'm implementing immediately because of this stuff. If I read it and forget it, it does not matter. But I have to implement. And the rubrics and metrics scores that we're implementing are going to change the game for our team. So that's my 2 cents, guys.
The fun part for me is this whole implementation piece. Again, our drunk monkey, that chatter in our head, makes it feel like, oh my gosh, it's such a big thing to implement. And if we go to today's content, it's one more call. When you're thinking you're done for the day, stop and make one more call. Who in this room couldn't do that? It would be physically impossible for you to make one more call. Yeah, not a hand goes up. This simple implementation. By the way, you do that, there's another 200 conversations this year. If you just get 1 out of 100, that's 2 more transactions this year from one more call. Gary, what do you got?
There's always such good stuff that I forget when I'm last. So the first thing I was going to say is that, Lexi, I don't even remember now. Oh, shit. In the very beginning, what did you say? Because that was what I don't remember exactly now what you said, but I feel like an ass. I'm sorry.
No, this is another implementation moment.
I mean,
I always have my notebook of random. This is the random thoughts book and the pen. So when we're in this room and I have something like that, I write down a quick note at the bottom so I know what I'm going to be doing, where I'm going to bring it back. So you just get to implement that. Or, as I've shown y'all, by the way, you can see I've got the green pen in the book. at the thought I want to be at, chapter 22, and you will see all the highlighting, and it's so much fun. I open up the book, any page, random page, boom,
How about-
green highlighting,
How about this? Since
random
I can't
page, boom.
I know. No, since I can't remember exactly what I was going to comment on, how about I just say that, and I'm not a coach or an expert or anything, but I would like to say that lately, at least in this book, I've noticed that Coach is incredibly engaged in everything. He's been doing he has a client, he's doing a house, he's doing amazing with like integrating everything and putting things together. And I've just really have been enjoying that about you, Coach.
Well, thank you, Carrie. I appreciate those kind words. And that's why I want you guys for Ed Milet, Monday's book. Get the green highlighters. Get the written word. I'm okay if you guys listen to it on audio as well, yet get the written word. I think it was $16 on Amazon today because not a damn Barnes and Noble in all of Houston has it in stock. And again, I could sit here and go, gosh, all these challenges with my travel and everything else. I know I'm going to be in Sacramento tomorrow. I found an Amazon drop place in Sacramento. I ordered the book this morning. I'll pick it up tomorrow in Sacramento. I will read and highlight for you guys for chapter 1 on Monday. You guys start doing the same. It's just this little implementation stuff. It's the small stuff that makes the difference. Think about this. The smallest chapter in this book, 2 pages, could make you, if you're an average market, an extra $20,000 in the next year. The math is the math. 2 transactions, average 330, 3% plus a broker fee, 10 grand with 1 more call a day. Stop focusing on the big things and I got to make these massive changes. And instead, as Ryan says, every single day he's implementing something. Just a little something, something. Doug, what do you got?
Okay, 2 things. One, I did not know what the word rubric meant. So I went and looked it up. And it's a scoring guide for being able to score students on how well they did learning the material. So anyway.
And he also made a cube. It's really wonderful, right?
Yeah, it makes a cube too. So anyway, the football story was absolutely fantastic. The one phrase that the coach kept saying in there was, how bad do you want it? And it's the same thing with us. How bad do we want it? And it looks like that was what Carrie was trying to remember. But anyway, I think that we get to say that to ourselves a lot more than people in other professions, because we have the opportunity to build our dream in a way that other professions don't allow you to dream it. And it being in this room is a surrounding of people that are continually pushing and asking the question, how bad do you want it? Are you going to stay in the game? Are you going to push through this one? Are you going to apply this? And it's just a consistent encouragement to move forward, to be better, to do better, to win higher. So, when we ask that question of ourselves in the middle of the trenches, in the call time, in the afternoon, when we feel like, well, I don't want to do this, I need to go, whatever. But staying on task, staying at it, just don't give up. And it's building the mental toughness, it's building the professionalism, it's building the strength. It's just a really ongoing thing that's happening here. So thank you all for being here. It helps, each one of you here helps every one of the rest of us. It makes a difference.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, and what a great because you brought in a little tomorrow's content, which I am totally on board with. We're wrapping the whole book up, and you being here, you may be talking about doing it for you, but as Doug said, it helps everyone else. That collaboration of knowing that we're all in these same situations, that we're all dealing with the same stuff. I mean, as Carrie said, I have gone out last week and jumped back in because everybody's saying buyer agency's done and all this buyer story around the NAR statistics. So got a referral, changed my plans, flew in and handled a buyer last week. And Mark, I did my own sky slope yesterday. So I now know, what you guys are dealing with there. I'm working on the home inspection this morning and getting that scheduled and all that fun. So I'm right there with you guys.
I love it.
We're all dealing with the same stuff. And you being here helps all of us get better and stay in the game. Mark, what do you have, brother?
So two things. Number one is, remember, everybody's always heard the saying, your net worth is going to be incongruent with the 5 people that you hang around the most. It's the same thing with mindset. It's the same thing with personal health. Like if you work out, I have a group in the morning that I work out with, and not having them there, I wouldn't work out. Right. So, and for me, I lead the group, so I'll make sure that I show up. Right. So I think important that we do that, and we are, because we're all made of energy, right? And we're all feeding off each other. When somebody has a lot of energy and they're like, Coach Russ he's always like high on cocaine when we see him. He's wild as all get out, right? And we feed off of that. Every single one of you, when he starts ranting, his hands go up in the air, every single one of your eyes light up, you all start to smile, because even though he's not in person, it still transcends through Zoom. So number one, Coach Russ is absolutely correct. One of the things that I heard this morning when I was listening to the book was, he said that his top performers give themselves a treat or celebrate every time they meet a goal. So if their goal is whatever, to call for 3 hours and whatever it is, 20, phone calls an hour, whatever it is, when they reach that goal, they have a little mild or small celebration. They celebrate that. So Nafrita said that, what's your big goal? I think it's important to have smaller goals each and every day. So if your goal is to sit down and have a cocktail at the end of the day, whatever, or to watch TV an extra hour, you don't get that if you didn't get your prospecting done. So I think it's important to have those little small, but he said they would take a break, just a small little break, either walk outside after they do an hour's worth of call. They would take a little bit of break, get their head clear, walk around, and then go back and do it again. But that doesn't happen unless they get those calls done. And I love the just one more, because I think that's breaking through the habit of stopping. And I don't know what it is for you guys, but I've done it in the past, and now I'm going to start bringing that back into, like, what's my goal, and then what can I do to celebrate? And that celebration doesn't happen unless you reach that goal.
And it's fun, Mark. We have had this conversation in this room before, because one of the things that you can do to plus this is do it in partnership with someone else on the goal. And so here's what I mean by it. I love this one. I would give to anyone who had small children. And by the way, the goal needs to be specific, measurable, and attainable by you, 100% in your control. So I wouldn't say I am going to commit a goal today to close an escrow, because there's a lot of moving parts and other people that have to happen. But all of you, which is what we do in the morning, an hour before this, can commit to X number of conversations. I'm going to talk to this many people today, and get someone else involved. So here's what I do with everybody that has small kids is let your kids know about your commitment. Every day, I'm going to talk to 20 people. And at the end of every day, when I've talked to 20 people, we're going to put a $5 bill in the jar on the top of the fridge. That is our Disneyland fund or Disney World fund. Are the kids now going to check with you every single day to make sure you made your calls?
Definitely.
Absolutely. And they're going to hold you accountable. Now you have 2 choices: lie to your kids and build that pattern, or tell the truth and let them down, or do one more call and actually hit the commitment. And even if you're late for dinner or something else and you come back, I'm late because I was still fulfilling my commitment to you guys, man, that teaches them a whole different story of what commitment means. And by the way, when you make a commitment to me, it means no matter what. That's commitment. Nafritha, you got something, my dear. What do you got?
So I was just thinking of some notes that I wrote from the previous chapter after I heard what Ryan was saying about the matrix, right? Making a matrix for each call or connection. One of the previous chapter was talking about being clear with your goal, and you kind of touched it just now too, right? And it mentioned writing it down. But one of the things on page 251, it says, if you do not have a plan, you will become a part of someone else's plan. You can either take control of your life or someone else will use you to enhance theirs. And I thought about that and I was like, wow, right? Once again, where do I want to fall? Because I'm either going to help someone build their dream or I'm going to be building my own. And it talks about doing many things, but, writing it clearly, being specific with what you want. And I wrote, a written plan forces action. That's what it says in the book. Action creates forward momentum. So sometimes you may not even feel like it, but just by you writing it, even you reading it, just like what he said, he wrote, when it's time to go home, make one more call on a note. So he wrote that. And every time his eyes saw it, it was like, okay, that momentum to keep going and to make one more call. Now I can't ignore it. Now I have to do it. And then on page 252, it references the free goal sheet on freegoalsheet.com. And I happened to come across this quote by Pablo Picasso. And it says, our goals can only be reached through a vehicle of a plan in which we must fervently believe and upon which we must vigorously act. So one of the things I always take from Ryan is, what are you doing? What are you doing, right? We have to act on this stuff. And then it says, there is no other route to success. So we can't be, what he says, delusional and successful at the same time, right? We have to pick one. What are we going to act on? And from reading that quote from Picasso, I came across another quote when I was going online. And it says, some painters transform the sun into a yellow spot and others transform a yellow spot into the sun. What kind of painter will you be?
Boom. Well, let's paint ourselves a huge future starting today. Let's paint ourselves a huge financial future. I mean, so many other places we can go as others I've talked to are taking jobs, JOBs, or they're going to work for a builder, or they're going to be part of a team. And every one of those has a limit to just how big a life you can build. And here in real estate, as one of
Is he cutting out for everybody else?
Oh, I
Yep.
didn't just cut out. I went totally away. The internet at the hotel decided you're done, and I had to log back in. Anyway, no matter what you do with anybody else, working for anybody else, there is a ceiling to your achievement, a limit. Here in this space, in this organization that we're putting together, every single one of you have no ceiling of achievement. The only thing holding you back is you.